Hey, Mike here of Cult Creators. And today I just want to go through this addiction formula for how you can get your members addicted to your community with this 6-part addiction framework. So let's get into it. So I saw this when Tony Robbins was talking. He was talking about marriage, but I mean, it's all the same thing. He's saying there's 6 parts that like the human function needs. There's 4 on the kind of like physical side. There's 2 on the almost like soul level. But if you can hit at least 3 of these 6 things, he was talking about in marriage, if your marriage has at least 3 of these 6, then you will become addicted to the relationship, to that partnership, right? But it's the same thing with communities. And so we've done this time and time again. It's a simple framework to just inject into your communities and just make sure that you're hitting it each week. And so I'm just going to go through each of these 6 pieces to see what you can add to your school, to your paid community, to increase the engagement, to increase the retention by getting people addicted to the experience. So number 1 is growth. So humans are growth oriented, right? They say you're either growing or you're dying. And so the human experience is like that feeling of stagnation, that we're not growing, is awful, right? Like we are always trying to get to the next level, get to the next status, etc. And so there has to be a sense of growth in your community, right? So there's a lot of communities that are just communities for the sake of communities, which is fine, but it's harder to get addiction that way because we're always looking for like, well, what's next? And so we like to work with coaching communities, people who have some sort of method, some sort of transformation. And so we just make sure that we paint that promised land very specifically, which again, you can do in a non-coaching style community, but just make sure it's labeled very specific, right? So when we were working with over 40 alphas, then we had to really show there's only so many ways to throw a dumbbell around. And so we had to create that promised land. And so we created the alpha zone. So everything that they do is working towards becoming an over 40 alpha and hitting the alpha zone, which is getting their body under 15% body fat, over 600 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone. So they have this goal in mind. They know where they're going. There's growth in it. And so then people have something to rally for, somewhere to go. Number 2, certainty. So the brain is always craving a sense of safety, right? We are wired for comfort. We are not wired for change. And so since a lot of these coaching communities are transformative, right, we have to almost handhold, we have to drag people through and override these safety mechanisms in the brain. And so we need to always be coming back to safety, right? If the amygdala gets triggered, then fear, anxiety. We always need to dissipate the amygdala and get to a place of safety. And so we need a sense of certainty, right? And so what we'll do is just make sure that we always show the full path, what's expected, where are we going, right? So we have growth being the promised land. Where are we going? Certainty is that what steps do I need to take to get there? So we like a visual transformation. We call it a transformation journey. And so we show them almost like a game board, what we have to do and where we have to go, right? And then every part of the journey, we just say, oh, look, you're now this far in on this. And so always creating metrics so that they can see, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I need to do and keep doing to get to this promised land. And so always be referring back so that they have this mental map of, okay, I know where I am, I know where I'm going, and I know what I need to do to get there. Number 3, novelty. So not only does the brain need certainty, it needs the exact opposite, right? It needs something new and novel. That's what gives us dopamine. That's what has allowed humans to evolve to where we've been, right? The brain is wired for new and novel. If it's new, it's exciting. And so if we have just too much certainty, then it just gets boring. It gets stagnant. Novelty is that they reference the two as in like, when you watch a movie you've already seen before, you have enough certainty to know that you like it, you enjoy it. It's going to be not a waste of 2 hours, but there's enough that you forget about it that it adds novelty, right? And so that's what we're looking for here is there's this sense of safety in the experience, but also like, how do we get these hitters of dopamine, this novelty, this newness? And so that's where you can add in a live challenge, right? Rally people for 7 days, 14 days, 30 days. You can bring in guest speakers. You can do like an in-person meetup. We like loot boxes, which is illegal in some countries, but very addictive, very good for novelty. So just keep that in mind. If things are getting stagnant, if you're not getting the engagement you need, it's probably novelty that you need. Number 4 is significance. So the brain needs to be validated. People are like so desperate for significance these days, especially when we're talking about that marriage example. As soon as you stop getting praise for things, as soon as you stop feeling significant in a relationship, then it's quickly going to dwindle. And it's the same for our communities, right? And so we want people to feel a sense of significance when they're here. It does so much for the brain, for the heart. And so we work to make members feel significant each week. So whether that's like bombing and commenting, whether it's sharing their story, whether it's putting them on a wall of fame, right? Whatever you can do to make them feel significant. Even just getting them live on your lives, right? Bringing them on camera, getting them to talk will give them that sense of significance. Praise is a huge one. Number 5 is connection. So the brain needs each other, right? We are wired for this tribal belonging. Our only sense of safety as humans is each other, and maybe thumbs and like big brains, but still, like, we are wired to be in tribes of groups of like-minded people. And so if you have a school, if you have a paid community, this is already inherent. We just want to amplify it. I like to think about, there was a company that removed all the doors, and so everybody had to come in and leave through one set of doors. And so they just actively worked to keep pushing people together. So you see the same faces, that law of familiarity that breeds like chemical bonding. And so it's always just about, where can you push people together, right? Get them more face to face, really rallying them behind this mission that we're on together, right? A like-minded group of people on a mission together. And so you can even create mini cohorts. You can pair people together. There's many ways, but just pushing people together to create connection. Number 6 is contribution. So this and connection are ones of like the soul. And so the brain needs to feel a part of something bigger than its isolated ego, right? Bigger than itself. So a lot of times we'll join for, removing the pain that comes, right? You have a solution. You have an experience I want to be a part of, right? But in order to get people to stay, the brain really needs to feel like, not only am I doing this for me, but as we all do this, it has this bigger like contribution to society. So Tom's Shoes is a great one, right? You buy a pair of shoes, they're going to give one to the less fortunate. And so they did that really well. Ben and Jerry's became the biggest ice cream company in America by doing this, right? Picking fights, everyone felt like they are contributing to the little guy, when they were going against Haagen-Dazs. Like, there's so many ways, even in the over 40 alpha, that we talk about, like, not only are you becoming alpha, but just imagine a world where like all these dads are stepping up and leading their community and leading themselves and leading business. And so there's a lot of like feel good that comes from this contribution to make it say, like, you're not only doing this for yourself, you're doing this for others. And so those are the 6 pieces, right? They are embedded in the cult creator model. And so we don't say build a community. We like to build a customer cult, right? Really get people chemically addicted to the experience, because in a world of AI, community is the only thing left. All we have is each other, right? People just want to experience life and go through, like, solve these problems in communities with like-minded people. And so the community model is, we say, the future belongs to those who can rally and unify strangers at scale. And so thanks for viewing. And so if you want to check out the cult creator model, we got that going on Skool right here, going live in 33 minutes. But yeah, check this out, where we are building customer cults. All right, now go create some addiction and let's get it.